An exciting program. We've only played the sport for 23 years, yet we won 150 games faster than any program in this state.
Oh my goodness, he's got another one! Touchdown ball!
We're going to do whatever it takes to find the best fit for the next chapter of USF football. Someone that embraces the USF football opportunity, who wants to make their mark here. We live in a city that, frankly, I think is the best in our country and one of the best in the world. Our institution is a preeminent university. We have a passionate and growing fan base that frankly needs to unite behind a unified vision to become what we want to be in terms of the standard of excellence.
And he's got some open space. Touchdown, USF.
We need to realize that the American plays big boy football. Finding the resources and the support necessary to win the American and move beyond is very important.
You should be so busy being great at doing your job, you know, that success and those things will find you. And that's what's happened for me here.
Touchdown, USF!
As a coach, you always want to give your players, you know, the best plan and the best opportunity for them to be successful.
It's an exciting time to be a Bull, and it's only going to get better.
Good morning and welcome. Welcome to a great day for all of USF, faculty, staff, students, alumni, and athletics. It's a moment we can all share and enjoy as we introduce our new head football coach. We'll have media opportunities and photo sessions later in the morning, and we'll hear from Vice President of Athletics Michael Kelly and, of course, Coach Scott as well. As we begin, it is my honor to introduce the President of the USF system, Dr. Stephen Corral.
Are you excited or what? Yeah, me too. Well, we're thrilled to be with you today, and ladies and gentlemen, today marks a new chapter for athletics at the University of South Florida and for our football program. We're thrilled to be with you today to welcome a talented new leader, Jeff Scott, who will take our program to new heights. I firmly believe a strong intercollegiate athletics program holds an essential role in the advancement of a strong university, and that's certainly true at the University of South Florida. Our athletics programs not only foster a vibrant student life experience, they are also a source of pride that unites us with all of our alumni, fans, and supporters. Most importantly, athletics helps us cultivate a strong sense of community, which is a top priority for me personally as your president. This is why I'm very excited today to welcome Coach Jeff Scott to the university. Coach Scott shares aspirations for excellence, our desire to build community, and our commitment to victory with integrity. I've been deeply impressed with his vision and his strong values, and I know he will reach new accomplishments for our football program, our student athletes, and the university at large. During Jeff's years at Clemson, he's learned what it means to build a culture of excellence, what it means to support student athletes, and create a family-oriented culture and climate among the coaching staff, the players, and the broader university. And I also wish to congratulate Vice President for Athletics Michael Kelly for leading such a successful search to find this terrific leader for our football program. And we thank, yeah. I'd like to offer a special thank you also to our Board of Trustees Chair Jordan Zimmerman, our Vice Chair Les Mumaw, and all of our trustees for their support in this process. I also wish to thank our alumni donors for their keen interest in this search process, and they were keen, let me tell you, they were very keen, and for what I'm sure will be renewed support for our football program under Coach Scott. And I want everybody to know how fortunate we are to have Michael Kelly as our Vice President for Athletics. Michael's a man of extraordinary character, keen intellect, and strong analytical skills. During the search process, he's been insightful, methodical, and deliberative. He's literally been working night and day for the past several days, evaluating a broad range of candidates and fielding innumerable phone calls, texts, and emails from probably some of you. Michael and I worked closely in tandem on this search process, down to the point last Sunday he and I were in Coach Scott's family home in South Carolina, and so we got acquainted with them and had a terrific meeting there. Coach Scott is unequivocally our first and only choice as the head football coach. Yep. So I'd now like to welcome our Vice President for Athletics, Michael Kelly.
Horns up, everybody. Horns up. All right. Dr. Corral, thank you for those comments. I appreciate it so much and appreciate your support throughout this entire process. Today is another great day in Tampa Bay, like every day is, but it's particularly a great day for our USF Bulls as we welcome our new head football coach. When I started this process a little over a week ago, there were a few key characteristics that I was specifically looking for as we evaluated people. Number one, of course, we wanted evidence of success on the field and in the classroom. And quite apparent since becoming the co-offensive coordinator for Clemson back in 2014's bowl game, Clemson has gone a staggering 69-4. They are about to participate in their 5th straight college football playoff. They have won 2 national championships so far, and they have averaged during that time frame over 40 points a game and averaged over 500 yards per game. Prior to getting to Clemson, he also, if you haven't seen in his itinerary, in his background, that he took a high school team and won the state championship in its very first year of existence. So another evidence of building a program and find a way to win. In the classroom, he's also been a part of a very exemplary program. The fact that Clemson in the past in 8 of the 9 last years has finished in the top 10 in APR from an academic progress rate. So he knows what it means, takes the same type of accountability that he'll bring here at the University of South Florida. The second characteristic I was seeking was aligned vision. And let me assure you that we are absolutely on the same page about how to proceed with the future of USF football. We're extremely proud of what this program has established and accomplished so far, and are very respectful of who has helped us accomplish that. I'm so honored to see so many of our former student athletes here today in support of this, and again, in 23 years, we've only been playing for 23 years. We won 150 games faster than any program in the state of Florida. In those 23 years, we've had 15 winning seasons and gone to 10 bowl games. But we're far from satisfied and have a burning desire to continue to improve and get better each and every day. And we know, aligned, that Coach Scott and I will find a way to build this program, build a culture from the inside out, and have full faith that the best is yet to come. The third feature and characteristic I was seeking was one of next-level player recruitment and player development. And recruiting has just been an incredible strong suit of Jeff's throughout his entire career. He's been named in the top 25 national recruiters for 7 of the last 8 years. He's been the ACC Recruiter of the Year many, many times, and it speaks for itself in terms of who he's been able to recruit. But in the player development side, it's also staggering. You got to look and realize that how many professional athletes he's been able to develop on the football field, as he's mainly focused on a lot of wide receivers throughout his career. And that's gone from everywhere from high-star recruits out of high school to walk-ons that are now currently playing in the National Football League. So player development, player recruitment checks the box there. Wanted to seek someone with a lot of passion to be able to create engagement with the campus community, engagement with the community at large here in Tampa Bay and frankly nationally. And as you've seen and probably watched Jeff on the sideline over the past couple of years, he's got a lot of passion and engagement on the sideline. I think there's some historic footage of him tackling Dabo after winning the national championship game here in Tampa, and a lot of excitement that he exhibited last week winning another ACC championship. But it's his engagement and his genuineness in terms of wanting to engage with all of you in this room and everyone watching. He wants to engage with you and knows that we need to build our fan base here, and Jeff Scott is the man to do that. His external skills are excellent. And last but certainly not least, it was seeking a desire to leave a legacy. Someone that wanted to not only just be a head coach, but to be the head coach at the University of South Florida, understand what that means. 16 months ago, I was called here to be back here and to build upon some of what some of my mentors in the past had done here, like Paul Griffin and Leroy Selman, that I wanted to build upon that and make us an exemplary athletic department. And I'm convinced Jeff is coming here for the exact same reasons. He's here to lead a program to craft a culture of passion, of fun, of accountability, and of excellence. This young man was born to be a head football coach. He's been preparing for it his entire life. He's worked tirelessly for this opportunity. It's all about fit and timing, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm here to tell you that this is the right fit and the right time for Jeff Scott to be the head coach of the University of South Florida. So let's give a horns-up welcome for our new head football coach, Mr. Jeff Scott.
First of all, don't worry, I'm not going to tackle anybody today. All right, so y'all are all safe. You know, I am humbled and honored to be your next head football coach. This is a job that I've really had circled in my book for a long time, and just so many reasons. And I want to start off just personally thanking President Dr. Corral for his leadership and for having the faith in me, our President of Athletics, Michael Kelly, just for his vision and the way he's been through this entire process. And, you know, the USF Board of Trustees and their support, and our chairman. I got an opportunity to talk to Mr. Jordan Zimmerman on the phone, and he was even more fired up than I was with a lot of passion. And, but, you know, just selecting me to be the leader at this time at the University of South Florida and to take it to the next level. And I have no doubt that we're going to do that. I also want to thank my family that's here with me today. My wife, Sarah, who all of you will stand up, Sarah. Sarah has been my head coach for the last 16 years. So she's been a great wife, a great mother. She does an excellent job with our players. And I have no doubt that she's going to be awesome in this community. She's going to be awesome with our players, and I can't wait for everybody to have a chance to meet her. And our daughter, Savannah, stand up. All right, let's be honest. All right, I got this job because of Savannah, and she's the 5-star 4-year-old in our house, and I tell people all the time that Savannah has already, at 4 years old, she has a college football record. She's the only 4-year-old that I know that has been a part of 7 college football playoff games, 3 national championship games, and she's been in 2 national championship parades. And I know that she's going to help our Bulls get to that major bowl berth in the near future. So we're excited about that. Also want to recognize my parents who are here. My mother, Daryl Scott, if you would please stand. My mom has been my biggest fan and encourager since day one. And then my father, Brad Scott, who is here. I think the greatest compliment that I can give my dad is that I chose as a young child to grow up and be a college football coach just like him. And so he's a great role model for me and great example. I also want to thank Sarah's parents who are not able to be here today, Dr. Richard McDaniel and Miss Faye McDaniel, just for their love and support for us. And really just want to take an opportunity to thank everybody back at Clemson University. I know there's a lot of Clemson Tigers that are watching this today, and they're just very proud, feel like they're kind of sending one of their own down here to South Florida. And I've had so many of them reach out and say that they now have another team to cheer for, and that's really awesome. I want to thank our school president, Dr. Jim Clements, who became a great friend for me, our director of athletics, Dan Radakovich, our head coach, Coach Dabo Sweeney, our co-offensive coordinator that I kind of worked side by side with for the last 9 years and 4 years as the co-coordinators, but Coach Tony Elliott, and he's actually here today, right over here, Coach Elliott. Coach Sweeney doesn't waste any time. He's already hired my replacement, one of our former analysts that did a great job, played at Clemson, and he's here as well, Coach Tyler Grisham, right here. Many of you have probably heard about the Clemson family, and that's a great example of that as well. And, you know, there's no doubt that my family has been blessed to be a part of, you know, one of the best runs in college football history at Clemson. But more important than anything is the people that I'll leave behind at Clemson. And even though, you know, it was a very emotional time leaving our alma mater and where we spent our last 12 years, the huge wave of support from everybody from the top down has made this transition so easy. And that support really started when Coach Sweeney called me. You know, I guess it's been a little over a week ago, and it was about 11:30 at night, and he called me and he said, "Hey boy, what you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm at home, Coach, getting ready to get a shower and get some rest." And he said, "You're not going to believe who just called me." I said, "Okay." He said, "Michael Kelly from the University of South Florida just called me." And he said, "Let me tell you, this is one of them jobs you want." And he said, "Great university, great location, great conference, great recruiting base right in your backyard. You can win there, and they have a great athletic director in Michael Kelly." And to be honest, that's all that I needed to hear. From that point on, I was focused on trying to go get that job. And then also I want to recognize part of my inner team and family team, Russ Campbell and Patrick Strong of Balk Sports that are here. I appreciate you guys and really preparing me for this opportunity, and really became very close friends and part of my support team. And then, you know, as I look forward, you know, I really want to thank and recognize, you know, the late, great Leroy Selman for his vision. For his vision for the University of South Florida's football program. None of us would be here, including myself today, without that. I also want to take this opportunity to thank Coach Jim Levitt, Coach Skip Holtz, Coach Willie Taggart, and Coach Charlie Strong for their contributions and help build a solid foundation where I stand today. As Michael said, I have a very clear vision for what I believe is going to take us to the next level as a football program, as a university, and I believe that USF needs to be united from start to finish, and that's really what I'm committed to. We will create the unity by focusing in our football program in 5 key areas. Number 1, common purpose and vision. Number 2, trust and respect. Number 3, communication. Number 4, building a family atmosphere. And number 5, having a genuine appreciation for each other. And it's important for our current players to be united from start to finish. And a lot of them are home because of exams. I had an opportunity to meet with about 30 of our current players, and that was just an outstanding meeting. Very impressed with those young men, and I told them I can't wait to get back here in January and get to work. But, you know, what I want for our players is, number 1, to graduate. That's the most important thing, is for our guys to graduate. Number 2, I want them to leave USF with tools for life, preparing them for after football. Number 3, I want them to have a great college experience. I want them to have fun. If you've noticed anything of watching Clemson the last few years, you know, we win at the highest level, but we have fun doing it, and we're going to do that here. And then number 4, and very important, we're going to win a championship, and that's what I'm committed to. It's also very important for our former players to be united. I've had an opportunity to meet several of you, and I cannot wait to get started and have the opportunity to meet you and hear your story whenever you were here at this football program. And really, I just want to lock arms with you. And I want you to know from day one that our doors are open to you. We welcome you back. You're welcome to come to any practices, because this is your football program. You sweat out there on that field. You've been committed. And I just want you to know that we welcome you back, and I can't wait to get started with you. The next thing that's important is for our University of South Florida faculty and staff, with the administration and also on the academic side, for all of us to be united. And I think that really, when Dr. Corral came to my house and shared his vision, that's really what stood out, because his vision was to unite and to bring people together. We have a great university here, you know, and it's big and it has a lot of arms, but he communicated very clearly that it's his goal to bridge all of those gaps, to bring everybody together, much like I want to unite and bring together this football program, and we're definitely going to do that. The next group that's important to me is our students here at the University of South Florida. I mean, that's part of the collegiate model, is to be able to come to a school and have fun, supporting your athletics, supporting your football team. I want them to have fun at our football games. That's important. I can't wait to get on campus when class is back in session and have a chance to meet many of our students. And then also, it's very important for our fans and donors to be united. You know, it's very evident to me, just in the short amount of time, the last couple of days, that there are a great support for this program. The fans are very passionate. There is a great group of donors. They're very passionate, and they want to see these young men succeed. They want to see this program succeed, and they want to see us go to the next level. And I'm very excited about getting the opportunity to engage with our donors and with our fans. And we have a great current donor base. I'm going to look forward to recruiting some new donors. That's going to be part of my job. And Lalo has already recruited Sarah and I to become Iron Bulls. So he actually asked me for the check this morning. I told him I'd do it after the press conference, make sure everything goes all right. But I'm asking many of you today really to start, right? We talk about, you know, united, start to finish. And there's no better time right now than to start supporting this program. And this is not a broken program. There is a very solid foundation here. I think my kind of evaluation, looking at everything, is we just need to bring all of our energies and efforts, bring them together. It reminds me so much of where we were at Clemson in 2008. And Coach Sweeney bringing in that vision, getting everybody on the same page, getting everybody with the mindset that the best is yet to come. And that's what I'm asking from all of you. Whatever your ability to support, please step up. This is the time to do it. Well, I promise you, there's facilities coming. We've got a support to do that. I've been a part of two great opportunities at Clemson to move into new facilities. I've been part of the fundraising that goes before that. I've been part of those top recruiting classes that come after that and all the championships. So I've seen it, and I just want you to know that we appreciate you, and I hope that you'll join me in being a strong supporter of this football program. And then finally, I think it's very important that our Tampa Bay area is united around this football program. I think a big part of that is from myself and our players really being involved in the community. And I plan with my wife and our coaches to be out there and be a part of the great Tampa Bay community. That's one of the reasons that attracted me to this job. I've had the opportunity to come down here and recruit, and it is just a wonderful place with so many wonderful people, and I cannot wait to engage in the Bay Area with our players and coaches in recruiting, fundraising, and community service. And it's going to take all of these groups to be united from start to finish. And, you know, right now, this is obviously a busy time, and I'm excited. I'm going to get an opportunity to meet with a lot of coaches, and already been on the phone with a lot of coaches. And there's unbelievable respect for this university and this job. All right, I stopped counting. I had 630 text messages in the last 2 days. And so if you're one of the first 300 people that text me, I apologize. I probably won't get to it till next Friday. But it is amazing the people that have reached out. But what I'm going to be looking for as I hire a coaching staff, I'm going to be looking for a group of great men of high character and high integrity. I'm going to be looking for a group of men that are hungry, passionate about what they do. I'm going to be looking for a group of coaches that love their players and want to put the players first. I'm looking for a group of coaches that want to hold our players accountable and hold them to the highest standard. And then in recruiting, obviously, you know, recruiting is one of the key parts to having a championship program. And I was telling Michael earlier, you know, I used to have long trips down here to Florida to go recruit. Now I can get in the car and be there in 15 minutes. And I'm really excited about that. But recruiting never stops. It never stops. It's 24/7. We're going to have a strong presence on social media and all of the different outlets there that the recruits and fan base love to keep up with. And our recruiting is going to go inside out. It's going to start right here in Tampa. And there's so many great football players and great coaches right here in this area. We're going to do an outstanding job of knowing who all of them are. I've had the opportunity to recruit several players from this way. I was involved, along with Tony, in recruiting Ray McLeod at Sickles. I was involved in recruiting Deion Kane from Tampa Bay Tech. And then one of my favorite guys, Artavis Scott from East Lake High School, and Artavis may be around here. He texted me yesterday and was going to try to make it, so I look forward to getting up with him. But, you know, there's no doubt that this is a special place with great recruiting. I think after we look at the Tampa area and the surrounding communities, then it's going to start with the state of Florida. I mean, the state of Florida has the best high school football of anywhere in the entire country, and we have it right here in our backyard. You know, it's kind of like when you go grocery shopping, right? You don't drive across town. You go right down the road to the grocery store, and that's all we have to do right here. And then finally, you know, after that, then we'll look outside of Florida for maybe just a couple key players if they fit our program and fit our needs. But there's no doubt that there's a lot of work to do, and I'm excited to get started. And together, right, united, together, we will build something very special. And here in about 20 days, we're getting ready to start a new decade. And I firmly believe that if we come together, we unite, that this will be the start of the best decade in the University of South Florida football history. Go Bulls.
Thank you, Coach. Coach, we'll answer a few questions from media now. We are live streaming this to Bulls fans around the world. So first of all, how about a Go Bulls for everybody watching on the internet today? There we go. We're going to go in this media section here and ask if you could wait till you're called on so we can get a microphone to you. And also if you could mention your name and your media outlet so Coach starts to put names and faces together. That would be very helpful as well. Let's get that right here.
Coach, Pat Zier with the Lakeland Ledger. Do you expect to name new offensive and defensive coordinators? And do you expect to retain anybody on the staff, or will it be all new people?
And once I do that, then I'll kind of start making some decisions that I feel is in the best interest of our football program. I've already had, like I said, a lot of interest. I've had a lot of conversations, but I didn't want to make any hires until I have the opportunity to meet with the current staff here.
Go right there.
Jeff, Kevin O'Donnell, 613, welcome to Tampa.
Thank you.
Obviously, you come from a great pedigree with your dad, and he's taught you, mentored you your entire life. But over the last 10 years, what has Dabo taught you specifically that has you prepared for this challenge to try to, take this team to, obviously, as you said, the next level?
Absolutely. I've been very fortunate in my life to grow up as a little kid on the sidelines for 12 years and watch Bobby Bowden, one of the best to ever do it. And then years later, I have had a chance to be on the coaching staff with Coach Sweeney. And I can still remember the day that he was named the interim head coach at Clemson, October 13th, 2008. And he called me and said, "Hey, where you at?" And I said, "Well, I'm down here getting subs." I was a graduate assistant. I was getting subs for all the coaches. And he said, "You need to come to my office." And he said, "All right, I got this interim. I'm not sure what kind of chance I have, but I'm going to hire you to be the wideout coach. You're going to do a great job, and if I get it, I'm going to keep you." And I was so excited. I went home and told my wife all about it. Being around this profession, I knew how difficult it was to get a job like that. And I'll never forget, across the ESPN ticker that night, it said, "Clemson wide receivers coach Dabo Sweeney named interim head coach today." And then it went on to say 0 of the last 29 mid-season interim head coaches went on to be named full-time head coach. So I paused for a minute, and then I looked over to Sarah and I said, "Hey, 1 out of 30, them ain't bad odds." So literally to go from that moment, watching Coach Sweeney as a tryout coach, to now being one of the best in modern-day college football, I've had a front row seat. And not only that, he allowed me a lot of responsibility, being his first recruiting coordinator for 6 years, and then promoting myself and Tony to co-offensive coordinators. And just being on the road with him, he would always take time that, "Hey, you're going to be a great head coach one day, and when you do, these are things you need to be thinking about." And so I think there was definitely a lot of things that he shared, but more than anything, just observing him in those team meeting rooms, I think the number one thing that he did is he changed the way our players thought, that mindset. Before Coach Sweeney took over, we would go into some big games and we'd hope to win. And then he changed that mindset where we believed, we expected to win, where it wasn't about our opponent. It's not about who we play, WHO, it's about how we play, HOW. And when you shift that focus to yourself and to your standard, then you have consistency. And so just all of those meetings and being able to see it, and trust me, whenever I started there at Clemson with Coach Sweeney in 2008, it didn't look like what it looks like now. One of the pivotal moments, and this is just kind of one of those God winks, if you will, one of the pivotal moments under Coach Sweeney's leadership is when the University of South Florida beat Clemson in the Mighty Kikarka Bowl. And that was really a time that Coach Sweeney made some changes, brought in Chad Morris, and really the rest is history. And so I've been able to watch, the trials that have been there, the adversity, and but I couldn't ask for a better mentor, and there's no doubt that I would not be standing here if I hadn't been around Coach Sweeney for the last 12 years.
Go right here, please.
Hey, Coach. Chris Pinson with Fan Stream Sports. You mentioned how you've talked to some previous players or some current players on this roster. A lot of current players might have some apprehension. Obviously, a new guy, a new system, new things to learn. What was your message to them, and what was your conversation like about how they're going to have to maybe step up their game to fit your mold?
Sure. Well, obviously I didn't know what to expect when I walked into the team room today, but what I saw immediately before I said the first word, I saw a group of young men that were hungry, a group of young men that wanted to win, a group of young men that wanted to go to work. And I know right now they have finals, they're all going home. It felt like a lot of them, I just wanted to go right from here to the field. And, and I told them to go home, take some time, get some rest, kind of get that your mind right. And whenever we get back in January, it's going to be time to go to work. But it was a great meeting. Those guys, I could tell. And again, this is not a broken football program by any means. It just needs to be united, to get everybody on the same page, share that same vision, and really to have that standard. Best is the standard. And that was my message to them today is it doesn't matter if you're taking your finals. Hey, best is the standard. If you're out in the community, how you represent yourself in this university and our football program, best is the standard. When you're in the weight room, when you're on the practice field, best is the standard. And when that becomes a way of life, that's when you ultimately have the success. And so it was a great meeting, and I know that was probably less than half of the guys. I look forward to meeting the entire team and having a chance to really get started in January.
Coach Jay Retcher, 95.3 WDAE. Welcome to Tampa.
Thank you.
We know you met with Michael and Associates, the firm. Can you just delve a little deeper into that relationship with him and how vital that was for you accepting the position here?
Sure. That was a key part. I've had a lot of respect for Michael, obviously, with myself being at Clemson and being in the ACC for the last 12 years. I observed him when he was in that role. And then when he moved over and was second in charge with the college football playoff, we happened to be there every single year. So I remember the familiarity of someone going from our ACC office to going to the college football playoff. And but here's what I would say the biggest thing on that, because I had some interaction. I knew who he was, and I hadn't really spent a lot of time with him. But the people that I trust the most, they had unbelievable things to say about Michael Kelly. And that, number one, was Coach Dabo Sweeney. Number two, Woody McCorvey, who's kind of our second in charge, Graham Neff, Dan Radakovich in our administration. Every single one of them had unbelievable things to say. And they said, to be able to go take a job at a place like University of South Florida and have a man like that to be working alongside of you, that you can't get any better. And so, to be honest, when I heard that, I didn't need to hear any more. I was already there, and obviously we had to kind of go through that process, but that was really the biggest endorsement and all I needed to hear.
Coach Laberger, Forbes.com. Your father, your sport spent in a lifetime in college football. What were some of the things that you learned from him that you will instill on this program?
Y'all are really trying to get me emotional, asking about Coach Sweeney's impact. I was so proud that I got through this whole thing without shedding a tear, and now they're just punching at it. Oh, man, we don't have time for all of that. But, the biggest thing that I would say is just watching his consistency. Number one, I think I've been able to observe for him that his priorities have been his faith, his family, and then football. And I think, so many times you can see coaches in this profession that maybe those things get out of order. And then you see coaches that maybe have to leave the profession to take some time off because they kind of got those priorities out of order a little bit. So to be able to see that, to be able to know that the impact that you can have as a coach, I was able to identify that at an early age, watching him with his players when they'd come over to our house, and I'm 8, 9 years old, throwing the ball with them, being able to see how important that was. And so it really, a lot of people ask that question. It really wasn't about like these 3 or 4 really important meetings where we sat down and I got out a notebook paper. It's just being around him. Whenever he was the head coach at the University of South Carolina, I held the cords. Back then, the headphones actually had cords. Now they're wireless. So literally, I would walk right next to him, and after about 2 years, he'd get mad because I'd start suggesting plays, and he'd tell me to be quiet. But just those experiences and being in the huddle and listening, and not only that, I knew at that age this is what I wanted to do, so I already kind of was watching through that lens. And so again, the biggest compliment that I could show him is the fact that my dreams were to grow up to be just like him. And I'm so happy and pleased that my opportunity to be a head coach is, 85 miles from where he was raised and where all our family is from. That's just very special.
We have time for 2 more questions.
Coach, Nathan Bond from the Daily Stampede. I know you have these grand plans when you want to become a head coach, and one of them is, do you want to call plays? Have you decided if you're going to call plays or be more of a CEO type? What's your game plan there?
Yeah, I'm going to do it very similar to how Coach Sweeney did it at Clemson. Obviously, my background is offense. That's all that I've ever done. Tony and I, man, we've had an unbelievable time working together as co-coordinators. We can finish each other's sentences, and we just have a great relationship and trust. And that's what I'm looking for in my offensive coordinator. I'm looking for someone that, number one, is going to call the plays. The offense coordinator is going to call the plays. They're going to run the offense. Obviously, by nature, I'm going to be involved throughout the week, really monitoring and throwing out some suggestions. And then within game and key moments, I got to, as the head coach, kind of trust my instincts and my gut. But the best thing that Coach Sweeney did is he hired a great staff, and he allowed those coaches to coach and do their job. And that's exactly what I plan to do here at the University of South Florida.
Coach, Bay News 9, you mentioned facilities that are coming, and you mentioned the support from the donors. Were you given any assurances about how fast those facilities could be coming?
Yeah, we definitely had those conversations, and to be honest, I was really excited when they pulled out some of the plans and some of the things that we're looking to do. And, for me, it's always about what's next. And to be honest, the whole situation with the facilities, that's one thing that made me want to come here even that much more, because there's the opportunity to grow. And I've been able to see that at Clemson when we went, from our Mcfadden Jervey building in 2009, we went to the West End Zone, which was right there at the stadium. And then in 2016, we moved over to our football complex. And so just the excitement that goes with that, to be able to think that I have the opportunity to come in and really help support raising the money, getting everybody together, and then letting that be ours. And then you look at the success that this program has had without an indoor facility, without a football-only facility. So to me, those are the things that I'm really excited about. I did get the sense from both President Corral and from Michael Kelly that this is something that they want to do, that they're passionate about. Lalo also is very passionate about. He was trying to get me on the phone already with a bunch of people. I know that I'm going to be doing a lot of that here over the next few weeks, but I'm excited about the things that are coming from a facility standpoint, and I think they'll be sooner than later.
Thank you. We will have more media opportunities with both Coach and Michael Kelly later on this morning. If now we could have Coach Stanley to join us on the stage. President Corral, Michael Kelly will do our photo opportunities here. And for all else, everyone else here today, our thanks for attending, and go Bulls.